When was the last time that you were at a museum with your kids? It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio. Hey, when was the last time you were at an underwater museum? Probably never. Yeah, right? There's one in Greece, as a matter of fact, that they're getting ready to unveil.
This thing is wild. So you are going to, hopefully you know how to dive. If not, you might want to get that certification, but you're going to dive 80 feet and you're going to see this shipwreck that they say happened 2,400 years ago or something. It's called Peristera. Did I say that right?
Yeah, and the cargo that they were carrying was black glazed clay tableware. Still intact, it looks like. So they're pretty optimistic because of COVID-19 and all this stuff. It looks like by June next year that this thing will be open. So if you plan a trip to Greece, you can go scuba diving into a museum.
I've always wanted to go to Greece. I don't know if I want to go scuba diving. Have you ever done that?
I have, yeah.
Do you like it?
I love it. It's so much fun.
Claustrophobic? It feels like it would be claustrophobic to me,
no,
but I don't know.
You just got to learn how to breathe, and you have to learn how to breathe at different levels. That's why you have to go through training and classes for it to be certified to actually scuba dive, because you just don't stick on the tank and put the oxygen in you and then go. You know, that there's certain things you have to do, even how you come up and raise out of the water. You know, the bubbles that come alongside you that go out when you're, oh, that sounds like Darth Vader. I'm sorry.
Darth Vader a little bit.
But you don't go any faster than the bubbles going up. I mean, there's a whole thing to it, and I wish I could tell you all the scientific stuff that they teach you when you get certified to scuba dive, but all that to say, yeah, I have.
Yeah, and it sounds like a great trip to Greece and first underwater museum. Let's book it.
Rob and Liz,
his morning crew.
I love golden doodles. I have a golden doodle. Her name is Charlie. But I think I'm in love with another doodle. His name is Josh, and he has an Instagram. He's called Josh the Doodle on Instagram.
Does Charlie know this? Have you clued Charlie in?
Charlie, she might be a little jealous, but she would be so happy to be able to play with Josh. She would get over it really, really quickly.
Oh, well, that'd be nice.
She is such a sweet girl, but Josh has some sort of condition that affects his motor skills. And so he's all over Instagram because of the way that he runs and the way that he plays. He can't control how he runs and plays, but it looks like he is just super excited about everything. So he was at a rescue in Arizona, and this married couple came in and they saw him and they're fostering him right now. So they are very active. They like to go hiking, and they put Josh in a backpack. When they go on a long walk, he has a wheelchair, but on those short walks, they just let him go. I am in love with Josh the Doodle. You have to watch him.
I will. Well, we'll have this on his radio replay coming up in just a bit. So you'll see that on Apple TV, Roku, and hisradio.com. Cutest dog ever when you see it.
Rob and Liz,
his morning crew.
Last time you take a look at somebody's home, and even the way the realtor writes about the home. It's beautiful. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio.
Yeah, they're not always completely honest, but I ran across one on Realtor.com called The Worst House on the Street.
Oh, seriously?
Yes.
That's what they said about the house.
That was like the title of the house. And so, of course, I was intrigued. And so I went farther. Let me just read a little bit of the description. Here it is. Literally the worst house on the street. The seller has done the hard work of cleaning up the almost half-acre property. It only took 7 dumpsters. So now is your chance to take it from here. And if you're looking for a house that screams, "I've got bizarre and ominous energy," then honey, stop the car, because you found it right here, conveniently located off US 301. If you need a place to stage your next post-apocalyptic zombie movie, this is it. And whether you'd like to turn up the heat or keep it cool, it won't matter here because there is no HVAC system.
That's it? That's a real thing?
That's part of it. I mean, it's like...
That's hilarious.
I want somebody to record that and have it on their website because that's so awesome.
I think you kind of did it for them. Wow.
Right? But I wish more, because sometimes, you know, when you've been looking for a house before, they don't tell you the little things that are wrong
listen,
with it.
not all realtors do that, but there probably are some who do.
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But you put your best foot forward. There's nothing wrong with that.
You got to sell the house.
Well, you've got to get them in the door, and then you kind of lay out, okay, this is a small room, or this wallpaper is terrible, or whatever.
Whoever that realtor is, I was going to say she. I don't know if it's
man or woman.
who posted that,
Yeah.
but had to be honest.
I love it.
You can't put lipstick on that pig.
No, but the house itself, when you're looking around, it's awful. Like it needs to be just, you start again here. You just take care of this one and start again.
I wonder. Okay, let's think this through.
Okay.
The worst room you've ever heard about. The worst room that you ever heard about. Join the conversation. We'd love to hear about you.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
I got a text from Tiffany, and she said, okay, are you ready for this? You, talking about me, are 4 degrees of separation from the queen.
Really?
And then she capitalized the, period, queen, period.
How?
She said, you know me. I know my brother-in-law, Andy. Andy served in Afghanistan with Prince Harry. He worked on Harry's helicopter, and they became, I'm getting cold chills. They became friends on the base. Obviously, Harry knows his grandma, so boom! We
So wait a
are
minute.
all connected to the royal family.
Tiffany's husband's brother
Yes.
was in the military and
Yes.
served
With Prince Harry.
on his helicopter.
Yes. Which the Prince Harry thing, but that he's connected to the Queen, yeah.
Oh,
I'm very excited.
evidently.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Okay, there. 800-447-7234. This is Chris. So, Chris, someone you know is connected to someone, maybe not the Queen, but what was it?
Pledge brother, and his brother is Zach Galifianakis. So this was in the 80s, before he was famous as an actor and comedian. Maybe met him, I can't really remember, but I know him for sure, kind of, because Greg talked about him a lot. He was very proud of his brother.
You say pledge brother, like college?
Yes, college fraternity. We're in the same fraternity, Sigma Alpha Mu.
Which school was this?
NC State.
Zach Galifianakis is from Western North Carolina. Is that right?
That's right, near Asheville, I believe. His family, his dad started the first Greek restaurant in the area, I think.
It's wild on how close we are to all this.
Yeah, 6 degrees of separation. That gets me pretty close to almost everybody. And my wife's grandfather or great-grandfather was the guy that started Fort Hood in Texas. So anyone military we're kind of pretty close to in degrees of separation as well.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
TJ, who's one of our producers on his morning crew. It's Rob and Liz, his radio. Thanks for listening. So, TJ, if I have this right, it was a brother's uncle, boss's friend's dad's brother's aunt who's related to Orlando Bloom?
No. Not even close.
How would, I was trying to figure it out. What was it again?
So I worked with a guy who was the father of Orlando Jones.
Orlando Jones.
Jones, not Bloom.
Yeah, not Bloom.
I had the wrong Orlando.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I just remember Dawn, and I remember Florida and Disney when it comes to Orlando, and that's about it. So we started thinking about, famous people and how close you are to them, whether it's one in your family or someone like TJ who worked with a guy's dad.
Right.
That
Had no
he had a
idea.
son who was Orlando Jones.
There you go. You got it. Tassie said, my great-great-grandfather was Al Capone.
Ooh.
Al Capone. What?
Whoa.
I was like, you got to be kidding me. Tammy said, I am a direct descendant of John Clymer, who was a governor from Pennsylvania who actually signed the Declaration of Independence.
No way.
I mean, can you imagine going to the Smithsonian and seeing it and saying, oh, that's
fam.
That's family right there.
That's fam. I'm
And you're
from
welcome.
That line, yes. Melissa's here at 800-447-7234. Who is it for you, Melissa?
So my grandpa's uncle painted the Coca-Cola Santa Claus, and it was a self-portrait.
Get out.
His name was Haddon Sundblom, and that's my mom's maiden name. And our grandpa would just tell us how his uncle painted, and he was an artist. He didn't have a family, but that one painting where he's looking at a little note hanging off of a fireplace. and it says Jimmy on it. That's my grandpa.
Oh, wow.
That is amazing.
Yeah, my grandpa was James Sunbloom, and so his little nephew was Jimmy. So, he often, like, little notes and stuff like that on presents would say Jimmy, and that's my grandpa.
That's cool. And all the pictures you probably have hanging around the house.
I know, and they're originals possibly.
Yeah, the first ever selfie.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Russell said, he just texted and said, my wife's uncle is Pete Rose. Right?
Really?
I was like, what?
Pete Rose.
That's pretty cool.
Who was that?
Russell.
Russell.
His wife's uncle.
His wife's uncle.
Yeah.
So baseball's in the blood.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Thinking about a famous person that might be in your life, your family, somebody that you know, somebody that you worked with that knows somebody that, how it's related to them. It's kind of crazy on how many people you can run into like that.
I know. I think he's like my sixth cousin, William Westmoreland. He was a general in the Vietnam War. So I've always heard that growing up. I've never met him, and I think he's passed on now. But, so that's kind of cool.
He seems to be, I can picture him for some reason. I don't know why. Did he get into acting at any time?
Not that I
No,
know.
just always one of those generals that always show up in pictures from back in the day.
And when you're studying and whatever. But Katie, she texted and said, my dad's first cousin is Ryan Seacrest's grandmother.
What?
I know. How wild is it?
Wow.
And I'm not really good with the whole tree branches and all. Like, how does that make her? Like, how is that relation to her then? My dad's first cousin is Ryan Seacrest's grandma.
Well, that would be a cousin.
Would it still be a cousin? Like
Yeah, the
twice
first
removed
cousin.
or something like that?
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean to her?
Yeah, exactly.
That's second cousin.
Okay.
My dad's first cousin, that would be her second cousin.
All right. I'm going to trust
Maybe
you on
I'm maybe I'm wrong, but
I got no
I'm
idea.
sticking to it.
that. Chris said my boss owned an arena football team with Gene Simmons from Kiss.
No,
Yeah,
really?
and he said in person, because he asked him, like, what's he like in person? He said he's a very smart businessman with a whole lot of energy.
Okay.
I guess so.
I could see that.
Okay.
Teresa's along with us at 800-447-7234. What's the story, Teresa?
We are direct descendants of William Bradford.
Oh, the dude that came over on the Mayflower.
How did you discover that?
Started when I was little doing my Girl Scout badge on Ancestry and spent many, many hours at the library doing the research and looking through microfiche to find all the records and came upon it. And since then, I've gone back and grabbed all the documentation to make sure it was true.
So that is quite a conversation starter for you.
It is. And the crazy part is that on my dad's side, it goes back to Native Americans, but we can't trace it because there are no records.
Sure.
But we always joke around at Thanksgiving that I had family on both sides of the table.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
This dude loves his wife so much he went and got her corn dogs from the convenience store. Why? Because he loves her. She wanted corn dogs. He knows happy wife, happy life. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio. So we started to think this morning about a time that someone went out of their way for somebody else. You may have known the story. It may have happened to you or you've done it. 800-447-7234.
Jennifer said, one afternoon, my daughter and I packed our bags. They drove 6 hours to see a friend who had lost her dad. They spent an hour and a half with the friend after they had driven 6 hours. But she said, you know what? She needed a hug. So we drove to give her that hug.
For a hug?
Yeah.
How long? 6 hours?
6 hours to spend
That's
an hour
great.
and a half with her. Yeah.
That is great. So Kathy texts in and said when she met her man they were dating, the dude did not know how to cook whatsoever. So what's that phrase? A way to a woman's heart is through her stomach?
Well, it goes the other way generally, but yeah.
Not for Kathy.
Yeah.
Because this dude learned how to cook. Now they are married and he surprises her with meals now.
See, that is so cool. You go the extra step.
He went out of his way big time.
Right? Jared said, when I was in my first year of college, my mom made me a birthday cake, packed up my brother, who was 5 or 6 at the time, drove 2 hours to come have a little birthday party with me.
Nice.
Mama will do that. Wow, these people that are
You
going
are
that
right.
extra step is awesome.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
I don't know the kind of lengths that you go to or somebody has done this for you or have you heard about this to make sure that the people you love are well taken care of and will have what they need. I don't know if you've driven miles and miles and miles to go to try to find something, but in the snow just the other day, there was a husband that showed up at a convenience store looking for corn dogs. He drove forever. Why? Because his wife wanted corn dogs.
That is so nice.
It is nice.
He did that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that shows true devotion. I mean, who knows how long it took him, but through the snow and the storm.
A long
and
time. Yeah,
Wow.
a long time. I think he might have looked at several different places. But
Yeah.
why did he venture out in the snow? Why, after the officials were saying the roads are just, don't go anywhere? Because his wife wanted corn dogs. And by golly, he was going to get a corn dog for his wife.
That is so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So Joey went out. I don't sleep very well. So I take melatonin, right, at night. And so Joey went out because I'd left it. We'd gone on a little weekend trip. 3:30 in the morning, he wakes up and I'm just watching like all the Hallmark Channel, just trying to go to sleep. He ran out to the store. Walmart,
at 3:30.
At 3:30 in the morning.
In a different town from the hotel.
In a different, so he had to, GPS it. He had to find it. He gets there, gets my melatonin, brings it back to me so I can sleep.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's done that kind of thing. So I know what this wife is like. My husband just went and got me corn dogs.
Isn't that nice? That's
so
very
sweet.
sweet.
Yeah.
Well, your husband went and got you melatonin.
I know.
That was survival is what that was.
Pretty much. If she doesn't sleep, she is a
A
bear.
woman needs to sleep. I don't know if you've ever done that or someone's done that for you or you know somebody who's done that for their sweetie. Just went out of their way to do something nice like that. Well, what's your story?
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
We're kind of curious now. What is your hack on getting your kids to actually eat what you put in front of them? 800-447-7234.
Jennifer texted in and she said, my kids are now 8 and 10, and they still call some of their meals chicken. They correct them, but they said it's getting less and less that they correct them because it's funny that everybody just goes along with it and calls every single piece of meat that's put in front of them chicken.
See, that's Liz's strategy with her kids when they were growing up. Just call everything chicken.
It was. I mean, if it was pork chop or meatloaf, it tastes like chicken. Yeah, okay. And then Misty said dinner was not up for negotiation. You either ate it or you just went hungry. So she's like, yeah, this is the way it's handled.
You want to eat? Here's what you're going to eat. I get you, Misty. Heather is here at 800-447-7234. What you say, Heather?
I'm a mom, and I want to let you know about getting kids to eat dinner. It can be a struggle. I've raised 4 daughters. The youngest one is presently 9 years old.
Okay.
And the way I get her to eat dinner is by offering corn dogs every night. Corn dogs apparently work, and just like a piece of broccoli so you feel good about it. But she'll eat a corn dog. She won't eat anything else. She won't eat spaghetti. She won't eat any kind of a casserole. If it's in a casserole dish, it's over. If I pop a corn dog in the microwave, that kid is going to eat. And to be honest with you, I can live with that. We just call it Corona dinners 2020. Living my dream.
There you go. Living the dream, Heather. Corona dog 2020. What
Right,
is it? Corona 2020.
Yeah, Corona dinners definitely look different this year. Either you're really elaborate or you're just like, here, have a corn dog.
Hey, go ahead and chime in. 800-447-7234. His morning crew on his radio.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.